Hello, I'm Peter Towers, Managing Director of ESS BIZTOOLS. Welcome to this podcast looking at the ESS BIZTOOLS Accountants Minute edition on the ESS BIZTOOLS Starter Package. And this all relates to advisory services being delivered or not being delivered by accountants. I think there's an enormous necessity for accountants and bookkeepers and business advisors to lift our game, to ensure that our SME clients are receiving outstanding commercial advice to help them navigate their businesses through the very difficult circumstances that most of our clients are now involved in. The preparation of monthly or quarterly financial accounts together with the tax return is not advisory services to assist your clients to survive and expand in this set of circumstances. And with today's technologies, software, and communications packages like Zoom and others, I don't think there's any reason why accountants cannot be at the forefront of delivering advisory services that covers all aspects of a business to help our clients overcome the challenges that are confronting us. So where does it start? If you decide that you're going to subscribe to ESS BIZTOOLS because you want to get access to the material which will assist you to deliver realistic advisory services to help your clients. Well, the first phase of it's really got nothing to do with your clients. It's all to do with your accounting team, the partners, the managers, and the accountants, and the support staff. Because there is a need for some training, some familiarization with the difference between preparing an annual tax return and some tax statements, of course, during the year, and giving the client some advice on tax. None of that helps them run their businesses better. It's important. I accept it's important. And I've worked there. I was a senior partner of an accounting firm. But there's a lot more to running a business than that. So what we're going to do in the 13-module business advisory services is set the scene. What are the client's problems? We talk about the SME needs analysis because it's got probably 100 different concepts that you might ask your client in a checklist whether they've got any questions or comments on those. Because what you need to try to find out is what are the issues that are really worrying your clients? And at the same time, you need to be convincing your SME clients that you understand commercial matters, that you can give them real advice, that you're not just only a tax expert, that you learned about a lot of other things at university and in your professional careers, your PY years, so that you can give them advice. But unfortunately, many of the SMEs have become accustomed to their accountant basically just undertaking taxation work for them, which they pay, but they are not happy about making payment for those services because that does not contribute to their business. So the challenge, I think, for accountants is to replicate as best we can the type of services that a larger SME is receiving. Could be in the same industry, could be one of your clients' competitors, but they're big enough, they've got enough revenue to warrant the employment of a full-time accountant. I believe in today's circumstances, in 2024, you can replicate that by offering a virtual CFO service to your clients. You won't be spending all day, every day working on that client's affairs, of course, but you'll help set up the system with the internal team at your clients and then monitor the performance. Make sure it's all happening daily, weekly, monthly, and that you and your team are involved most heavily each month to produce reports, to get some action, because that's how businesses operate. That's how the larger businesses operate. But as the key profession advising SMEs, we've tended to leave the smaller SMEs to themselves. And if they can battle their way through and build up to a turnover of $3-4 million, we then say, well, you really need an accountant, because we know there's a lot of questions that you've got. They might be what-if questions involving costing or analysis of performance, or setting up prompt budgets to say, well, this is what we need to generate to cover our overheads and all the other costs in a business to go down this project. And this might be for a tender that's occurring now. It closes tomorrow. And it's all hands on deck to make sure that a submission can be made. This is the real commercial world that I think we have an obligation to be far more proactive as a profession than what we've been up until now. And I've read various articles and watched videos of what other businesses are making available, where there seems to be this heavy emphasis on computers will do it all. They won't. They don't replace that human brain that you've got, that you're observing what's going on with competitors, what's going on in the industry, what the team within the client's organization are capable of, that you can ask the questions and work your way through it. Use that knowledge, use that skill. Sure, the computers can record the end results and create a lot of information. We couldn't do all this without computers, but we also need your brain, your experience as an accountant to help your clients to be able to develop and advance, scale up. Hopefully some of them will want to scale up. And scaling up means that they want to grow significantly higher. That brings in a whole range of issues. But those issues also are there for a very small business just starting off. That's the framework that I think businesses should operate in. Having a daily meeting, 5 minutes, maybe 10, just to see that everyone's on board, they're ready to go. But what were the problems from yesterday? What needs to be solved before we really kick off today? What's the strategy for the next 3 months? What has definitely got to be fixed in the organization? Who is responsible for it? These are the sort of decisions that go on in businesses. And yet for the vast majority of SMEs, there is no financial accounting input into any of these deliberations because they don't have a full-time accountant. I think we need to be encouraging clients to think about they're employing your firm on a part-time basis to be the chief financial officer. And I got subscribers to ESS BIZTOOLS earning $40,000, $50,000, and some are even getting more fees than that out of offering this service. They have sat down and had the blunt conversations with the client and said, well, we can supply this service, but this is what it's going to cost you. Now, if you employed a full-time person, it's going to cost you that. And that person is really going to be rather bored after 2 days' work a week or 1 day's work. So let's try to figure it all out and make it work. So we have got 10 training sessions within the starter package program. they're a full 1 hour. We have that as a group training package that firms from all over Australia will be in attendance. You'll hear their questions and hear my answers to their questions. And some things will say, well, gee, we better run another training session on that. Training is very important. And I would urge you, if you're going to make the step to subscribe and become a member of ESS BIZTOOLS, that you also make sure that there is a commitment to training, because it won't work unless there is commitment to training. So how do we help you get started on this? Because I know that a lot of SMEs just don't know what to make of accountants. They're a bit uncertain as to what you know about their industry, their commercial skills. They don't really understand what benchmarking means and how that can help their business. They don't really understand the benefit of business plans and budgets and cash flow forecasts. They've heard that there's the ability now to raise capital direct from the public. They probably don't know the names of it, but it's crowdsourced funding, equity raising. A small company can raise up to $5 million as long as there's support from the crowdsourced funding intermediary. You might say, who's that? Well, we will tell you who that is as you go through our material, because we've got a complete program on the crowdsourced funding equity raising. So there's this need for information to flow around for you to be able to assist your clients. So we've developed Business Plus newsletter. We started it 17 years ago because accountants were saying to us, well, we're having trouble getting clients to switch on. They still think all we do is tax. So I said, well, we'll start writing a monthly newsletter, but you're going to badge it and send it out. You're going to make the phone call to your clients to ask them if they've read the article. And has it created any vibes? Are they interested? They want to talk to you. They want you to start doing something similar to the article that we have written. So we write it each month. It's uploaded to our website on the second Friday of a month at 12 noon, AEST. And we send you a short video at that time, referring to the articles and giving you what I think is the game plan. What should you do? And the game plan is basically, please read the newsletter before it's sent out, so you know what the contents are. And those contents will be spread as best as we can over 4 to 6 articles that try to have an article for each sort of category that's in SME land. So someone just about to start a business, someone that started a business in the last 12 months, someone that's wanting to scale up, current turnover is $1 million, but in 2 years they want $5 million. And then what's involved in all that? Someone that's wanting to undertake research and development and get their business on the innovation journey. And what are they going to need? Well, I think they all need business plans, budgets, cash flow forecasts, projected balance sheets. They need a vision. They need to understand how they can get the funding. So crowdsourced funding, equity raising, I mentioned just a while ago, early stage innovation company. They're both capital raising processes that were introduced into the Australian Parliament about 7 years ago now, and neither have really hit the big heights. I think a lot of it's because accountants have not embraced the concept. We have not promoted it. We have not talked to our clients. We sit back and hear about business funding and cash flow problems in businesses. Could some of them have been solved? Not all of them. I'll be the first to admit that, because not every client business is going to be suitable. They all have to be companies to go down this path in any case. And that might frighten some people. There's going to be outside people own part of their company, and that will also cause some concern with some people. But I think there's enough potential legitimate businesses out there that could really use the capital raising processes, allocate shares to the public. And there are investors. Over $430 million has been raised. But that figure could have been substantially higher if accountants had really embraced this concept and said, we're going to talk to our clients. and your clients would have benefited. But incidentally, so would you have benefited. And if there'd been a bigger uptake of the concept of being the key advisors to SMEs in commercial services, I think the uptake would have been a lot bigger. Why? Because there's substantial work for your firm to undertake in those activities. Because each one of those companies needs a business plan. They need a financial interpretation of the business plan, which is the predictive financial report, which is the budgets, cash flows, projected balance sheets. They need an effective accounting system, which we call the 52-week business enhancement system, that produces results daily, weekly, monthly, different types of results, but they're produced. And there has to be an emphasis on key performance indicators and business metrics. There has to be this continual observation of the fluctuations in the future cash flow within the business. Do we need to try to raise some extra money? It's no use waking up tomorrow morning and saying, gee, we need a bit more money to pay some bills due on Friday. It's too close. Need to be planning months in advance. That's your role, because that's your role if you were employed as the full-time accountant in your client's business. With today's technology and communications, as we've said before, you can offer this service, but you need to want to do this. So in the material, you get the newsletter, which the purpose of that is to alert your clients that accountants can do far more work. But you need to follow it up. You go through and read it first. You say, oh, gee, there's something in there about crowdsourced funding equity raising. Billy and Mary were saying to me a few weeks ago that they really see that they've got a shortfall in funds of about $500,000 on what they'd like to do. Well, the average capital raised for crowdsourced funding equity raising in Australia is about $830,000. So someone trying to raise $500,000, that's quite okay. Now, there's some planning, which we haven't got time to go through at present, but there's definitely planning. But that's the first step, getting them to say to you, yeah, we want to go down that path. What's involved? And perhaps at the end of it, you might be saying to them, well, you really need to raise $600,000 because there are some costs in all this. And you need to have a bit more coverage in there. And let's see how it goes. Not every company raises money, but most of them do in crowdsourced funding equity raising, as long as they've got a decent story to tell. They've got a decent business. They've got a vision. They've got a team that wakes up enthusiastic every day. And that's what should be happening in your firm also. And we've got client mentoring and coaching modules and client seminars to help you. And we've got ESS papers in the package we're talking about, the advanced package, the starter package. We've got 580 packages, which will help your clients have a better understanding. And those papers, 68 different categories. You badge the paper and send it to your client. And then let's look at the critical components that you will get for your clients in the starter package. Each week you get a grant update report. Yes, we write a report on the Australian, state and territory grants. What's new last week, giving you an alert. We have the tradies charge out rate calculator. It's our biggest product that our subscribers tell us they use because you can assist your tradie clients. There are thousands of them, isn't there, around Australia. So you get their charge out rates right, which is looking at their on costs for their labour, their salaries and what other benefits they're paying, their working hours, their expected productivity percentage. And if it's wrong, we're going to have to adjust it. Because each month they will then be receiving financial accounts that can be analysed. Exactly what would happen in a bigger company. Professional service firms charge out rates are very similar. The retail pricing calculator. Have you ever sat down with a client that's a retailer or a wholesaler and try to understand what they're going to do to try to earn a targeted profit at the end of the year, it's complicated because they've normally got at least 4 main groups of stock that they're dealing with. And then they've got all sorts of sub-accounts of that. But the 4 main groups, they've got stars. They're the things that are the high markup and the high volume. But invariably, there's competitors everywhere who've got that sort of product or very similar. So there's competition in that area. Then they've got the cash cows. They're the things that you sell a lot of, but the markup's very low. Why? Because everyone's got it. And the market will only pay so much for it. Newspapers, milk, bread. And then they got the problem lines. Normally last year's fashions. It's a big problem in ladies' retail. They end up with last year's fashion. Last year, the ladies' colour theme was red. This year it's yellow. No one wants red. So what do you do if your client's got a store full of red garments they didn't sell? They turned up too late. Bit of a risk putting them away and hoping red will come back in 3 or 4 years' time. They're probably going to be out of fashion. They may have deteriorated in some way. So how do you get that mix right? And then you've got the various markups. We've got a package which will assist you to do that. And some of our subscribers are very successfully using that. Buying a business. Yeah, some people are still buying a business and they need competent professional advice. They need to be warned about making sure they've made contact with suppliers and understand what the suppliers' payment terms are. The CEO of MYOB wrote a report that was published in the Financial Review in February. I think the situation's probably worsened since that was written, which indicated that the MYOB research had indicated that there's people starting businesses and not contacting suppliers. So made assumptions that they could pay those suppliers on a 30-day basis. And some of them got a rude shock when the supplier demanded cash with order or cash on delivery, because suppliers are being caught by a lot of businesses that are not properly advised and have gone into liquidation or just are not making payments on time. So they've now stopped supplying to them. People were making those mistakes. So there's a lot of issues with buying a business. Research and development introduction. This is vital for you, I think, to become familiar with, because there's thousands of SMEs undertaking research and development. Unfortunately, a lot of them tell me from time to time that their accountants aren't interested. They say, no, we can't help you on research and development. I don't know why, because it's part of the Tax Act. And normally in the same breath, a lot of accountants say, well, we only work on the Tax Act. Well, research and development's part of the Tax Act. Please have a good look at it and help your clients instead of them going off to larger firms somewhere. You can give them that initial advice. And that's what we've got in this package, the introduction, so that you could go to your screen when a client asks you a question about research and development and give them the answer. And say to the client, well, you're currently trading as a sole trader. You can't claim any of the additional benefits out of research and development because you've got to be a company. And then you've got to spend at least $20,000 on legitimate research and development activities in the financial year. Plus you have to keep records. Plus you have to undertake prior art searches. And before the client says, what's that? You say, well, here, I've got it here on the screen. I'll read it out to you. And I can print you off a report that ESS BIZTOOLS produces all this because we want to empower you to be the trusted advisor. It's as simple as that. And empowering you with that information is the way to do it. The debtors management system, that same report prepared by Mr. Robson from MYOB CEO indicated that debtors management was a mess in a lot of businesses. And I agree. Unfortunately, we have the largest debtors days outstanding in the world, according to an international report prepared about 3 years ago. But since then, I don't think things have changed much. The Morrison government made changes to force government departments to pay within 30 days. The Albanese government has really brought in some fairly draconian measures on big business. If they don't pay within 30 days, there's going to be a public shaming by naming those companies who are outside the guidelines for payment. Whether that's going to make them pay any quicker, I don't know yet. And the jury's out on that, and we'll know about that in the next 12 months as those reports start coming out. But a lot of the problem, I think, is SMEs have not been properly briefed. So this is your opportunity to brief them and set up proper systems, because we've also got a standard debtors systems manual. Selling a business is a huge problem. Making sure you get the best deal. There's still people selling businesses. How do they get the best deal? It's to work through a whole series of checklists. And in some cases, the best advice you can give them may be, why don't you hang off for 2 years and go and get your house in order? Uptrain your team so that the business will run without you. Make some other changes. Fully implement what you started to do so that your business is more saleable in the market. Succession planning, a huge issue. And it's not just for the owner or the CEO that's about to retire, as important as that is. It might be the 21-year-old graduate that your client's just employed. Or it might even be your own accounting firm succession issue. And you're trying to map out for your younger accountants what their career path is with your firm. Because I understand how important talent attraction and talent retention is for accountants, and it is for a lot of other businesses also. But when it comes to accountancy firms, undertaking this sort of work will help you on that journey. So ESS BIZTOOLS has tried to assist you to deliver these services. So we have a special discount on at present. We've discounted our normal subscription for the starter package by 50%. So you can have a package for $990, including GST. But there's an alternative. We've decided to offer a 3-month contract. So you can have a 3-month contract to utilize our starter package. You have access 24/7. You receive our promotional material and everything else that I've talked about in that 3-month period. And that subscription is $286, including GST. Now, at the end of the 3 months, I'll be honest with you, I hope that we've delivered an outstanding range of services to you, that you can really see the benefit, because we're updating material, we're producing new business plus newsletters each month. We're doing other things that you then want to continue with us. And we will then give you the opportunity for subscribing for the balance of the 12 months, the 9 months, and we will calculate that on this discounted subscription for 12 months of $990. So we'll give you the benefit of that, even though you mightn't be exercising it until 3 months' time. If you want more information, or you're ready to subscribe, that's fantastic. Please go to our website, www.essbiztools.com.au, and click on packages and pricing, and then on the starter package. And then you got a choice. You either click on the 12 months 50% discount package, that's going to cost you $990, or you click on the 3 months special package offer, $286. And then we will be very happy to communicate with you and invite you to your first training session to get started on the implementation of real advisory services to assist your clients to survive. And the very important byproduct of all that for your accountancy firm, it will assist you with your client retention and attraction, and will improve your overall business performance as you attract new and growing clients who are appreciative that you are offering them a range of commercial services to assist them to survive and thrive in these very awkward conditions. Stay safe. Have a great day. Look forward to talking to you again very shortly. in our next podcast for ESS BizTools Accountants Minute. Goodbye.